I stumbled into the H&M on Fifth Avenue, my arms loaded with dresses I didn't need, just to drown out the ache in my chest from another failed blind date. Suddenly, a clerk with piercing green eyes and a name tag reading Poppy grabbed my wrist, pulling me toward the fitting rooms with an urgency that made my pulse race. "Hope," she whispered, her breath hot against my ear. "I know your secret, and it's killing me to keep mine from you." Hope froze in the dim glow of the fitting room mirror, her reflection staring back with wide, disbelieving eyes. Poppy's words hung in the air like a storm cloud over Manhattan's skyline, heavy and electric. How could this stranger know her name, let alone the buried truth she'd carried since college? The bustling sounds of the store, chattering shoppers, the beep of registers, faded into a distant hum as Hope's mind raced back to that rainy night in Boston 5 years ago. It had been her sophomore year at NYU, though she'd started late after a gap year working odd jobs in her hometown of Seattle. Hope had always been the quiet type, the girl who blended into the background like fog on the Puget Sound. But that night, at a dimly lit campus party thrown by the LGBTQ+ Alliance, she'd met someone who shattered her invisibility. Her name was Alex, confident, charismatic, with a laugh that could light up the Empire State Building. They danced under string lights, shared stolen kisses in the shadows, and for the first time Hope felt seen, truly seen. But Alex had a girlfriend back home in Chicago, a detail she conveniently omitted until it exploded in a tearful confrontation weeks later. Hope's heart had been left in pieces, vowing never to let vulnerability crack her open again. Now, here in this cramped fitting room, Poppy stood too close, her floral perfume mixing with the scent of new fabric. She was shorter than Hope, with freckles dusting her nose like stars on a clear Midwest night, and hair tied back in a messy bun that screamed, overworked retail warrior. But her eyes, those emerald depths, held a familiarity that unnerved Hope. "How do you know my name?" Hope finally managed, her voice a whisper laced with defensiveness. Poppy glanced over her shoulder, ensuring no one was eavesdropping, then leaned in again. "We went to high school together in Seattle, Lincoln High. You were the girl who always sat in the back of English class, scribbling poems in your notebook. I was the one with the bad dye job, trying to start a gay-straight alliance that fizzled out after 2 meetings." A soft, sad smile tugged at her lips. "I've followed your life from afar, social media, mutual friends. But seeing you here, I couldn't stay silent." Hope's mind whirled. Lincoln High. She vaguely remembered a Poppy Reynolds, the outspoken kid who'd rallied against the school's outdated dress code. But they'd never been close. Hope had been too buried in her own confusion about her sexuality to engage. Coming out in a conservative pocket of Seattle hadn't been easy. Her parents, devout churchgoers, had reacted with a mix of denial and prayer circles. She'd fled to New York for college, reinventing herself as the independent graphic designer who dated casually, never deeply. "Why now?" Hope asked, clutching a sundress like a shield. "And what's this secret you're talking about?" Poppy's expression darkened, her fingers twisting the hem of her uniform polo. "Your ex, Alex. She's my cousin. And she's in town looking for you. She told me everything. How she broke your heart. How she's regretted it every day since. But Hope, there's more. Alex isn't who you think she is anymore. She's changed, but not in the ways that matter." The revelation hit Hope like a subway train barreling through Times Square. Alex here in New York? The woman who'd ghosted her after admitting the affair, leaving Hope to piece together her self-worth in therapy sessions she could barely afford. Anger bubbled up, hot and unbidden. "Why are you telling me this? To play matchmaker for your family?" "No," Poppy said quickly, her voice cracking. "Because I had a crush on you back in high school. Massive, pathetic crush. And when Alex bragged about you like some conquest, it killed me. I want to protect you from her games." Hope stepped back, the fitting room suddenly feeling claustrophobic. A crush? From Poppy? It was absurd, yet something in her tone rang true, raw, vulnerable. Outside, a coworker called Poppy's name, snapping the moment. "I have to go," Poppy whispered, slipping a scrap of paper into Hope's hand. "My number. Call me if you want the full story. Please." As Poppy vanished back into the store's chaos, Hope unfolded the note. "Coffee? Tomorrow? P." Her heart thudded erratically. What was this, a setup? A coincidence? or the universe's twisted way of forcing her to confront her past. That night, in her tiny Brooklyn apartment overlooking the East River, Hope paced the creaky hardwood floors. The city lights twinkled like distant promises, but her mind was a storm. She hadn't thought about Alex in years, not really. Therapy had helped her label it as betrayal, move on to fleeting flings with women who matched her energy, fun, no strings. But Poppy's whisper had cracked open that sealed vault. She texted the number. "Okay. Coffee. Where?" The reply came instantly. "Central Park, near the Bethesda fountain. 10 a.m. Can't wait." Hope tossed her phone aside, sinking onto her bed. Sleep evaded her, replaced by flashes of high school hallways, Poppy's shy smile she now remembered, and Alex's intoxicating laugh. By morning, curiosity, and a spark of something warmer, propelled her out the door. They met under a canopy of autumn leaves, the fountain's angel statue watching over them like a silent guardian. Poppy arrived in jeans and a cozy sweater, her hair loose and waving in the breeze, looking less like a retail drone and more like the girl from Hope's hazy memories. She handed Hope a steaming latte. "Extra foam, no sugar. I remember from your Instagram stories." Hope chuckled despite herself. "Stalker much?" "Guilty," Poppy admitted, her cheeks flushing. They walked along the paths, leaves crunching underfoot, sharing stories of life after high school. Poppy had moved to New York for acting dreams that fizzled into retail gigs and auditions. "It's tough," she said, "but this city has a way of making you fight for what you want." As they settled on a bench, the conversation turned serious. "Alex is here for a conference," Poppy explained. "She's engaged now to a guy. Trying to go straight, or whatever bullshit her family pushed. But she confessed to me last night. She's still in love with you. Wants closure or maybe more." Hope's stomach twisted. Engaged? To a man. The betrayal stung anew, layered with pity. Alex, the bold lesbian who'd awakened Hope's desires, now hiding behind heteronormativity? It was a punch to the gut. "I told her to leave you alone," Poppy said, her hand brushing Hope's accidentally, or not. "But she's persistent. And Hope, I couldn't let her hurt you again without warning you. Bez, I care. More than I should." Their eyes met, and in that moment, amid the joggers and tourists, something shifted. Hope felt a pull, magnetic and terrifying. Poppy's honesty was a balm to her scarred heart. As they parted with a tentative hug, Hope whispered, "Thank you." But inside, questions swirled. Was this the start of something real? Or just another layer of drama in her chaotic life? Days blurred into a whirlwind of texts and stolen moments. Hope found herself drawn to Poppy's world. A mix of late-night shifts at H&M, improv classes in dingy Chelsea theaters, and walks through Greenwich Village where they debated everything from Broadway musicals to the politics of queer visibility in America. Poppy's laugh was infectious, a melody that cut through Hope's cynicism like sunlight-piercing fog. For the first time since Alex, Hope allowed herself to really feel the flutter of possibility. But shadows loomed. Alex's messages started arriving, unbidden and insistent. "Hope, it's me. I need to see you. Please." Blocked numbers, emails from old accounts. Alex was relentless, a ghost from the past refusing to stay buried. Hope confided in Poppy over dim sum in Chinatown, their fingers intertwining under the table. "She's engaged," Hope said, voice trembling. "To a man. How could she?" Poppy's jaw tightened. "Family pressure. Our aunt and uncle are old-school conservatives from the Midwest. They think marriage fixes everything." She squeezed Hope's hand. "But you're better than her games. You're strong, Hope. And beautiful." Their first kiss happened that night, under the neon glow of a bodega sign on a rainy street. It was soft, tentative, then deepening with the urgency of pent-up longing. Hope pulled back, breathless. "This is crazy. We barely know each other." "We know enough," Poppy murmured, her forehead against Hope's. "I've waited years for this." As weeks turned to months, their relationship blossomed amid New York's rhythm. They spent Thanksgivings at a queer-friendly potluck in Brooklyn, where friends toasted their adorable meet-cute. Hope introduced Poppy to her graphic design gigs, sketching logos while Poppy rehearsed lines for auditions. It felt right, like puzzle pieces clicking into place. But doubt crept in, whispers of too fast, too good in Hope's mind. Then came the betrayal. It started with a missed call from Poppy during her shift. Hope, feeling playful, decided to surprise her at H&M with takeout from their favorite Thai spot. Weaving through racks of winter coats, she spotted Poppy in the back. Phone pressed to her ear. "Yes, Alex. I told her. She's hooked now. Just give it time." Hope's world tilted. "Hooked?" She ducked behind a display, heart pounding as Poppy continued. "This wasn't the plan, but I think I'm falling for her. For real. You have to back off." The phone call ended, and Hope confronted her in the stockroom, tears streaming. "What the hell, Poppy? You're working with Alex." Poppy's face crumpled. "No, wait, Hope. It's not like that," she explained in rushed whispers. Alex had reached out months ago, asking Poppy to track Hope down for closure. Poppy agreed initially out of family loyalty, but upon seeing Hope, old feelings resurfaced. "I was going to tell you everything. I swear. But then we connected and I couldn't risk losing you." Hope backed away, betrayal slicing deep. "You lied. From the start." She stormed out into the biting December wind, hailing a cab to her apartment. Texts flooded in. "Please let me explain. I love you." But Hope ignored them, curling into a ball on her couch, the city lights mocking her naivety. Christmas Eve brought isolation. Hope's parents called from Seattle, their voices warm but distant, still tiptoeing around her sexuality. "Any special someone?" her mom asked tentatively. Hope mumbled no, hanging up with a hollow ache. Memories of Poppy invaded. Their ice skating date in Rockefeller Center, where Poppy had fallen laughing into Hope's arms. Lazy Sundays in bed with coffee and crosswords. Unable to bear the silence, Hope unblocked Alex and agreed to meet at a quiet cafe in Soho. Alex arrived polished, her once wild hair tamed into a bob, a diamond ring glinting on her finger. "Hope," she said, eyes glistening. "You look amazing." "Cut the crap," Hope replied. "What do you want?" Alex sighed. "Redemption. I was scared back then, young, confused. My family's expectations. I ran. But seeing you thrive on social media, it hit me. I never stopped loving you." Hope laughed bitterly. "You're engaged. To a man. It's arranged, basically. To please them. But it's you I want." Alex reached across the table, but Hope pulled back. "No. You broke me. And now Poppy." Hope trailed off, realizing the web of deceit. Alex's eyes widened. "Poppy? What did she say?" The truth unraveled. Alex had indeed asked Poppy for help, but Poppy had twisted it, using it as an in to confess her own feelings. "She's always been jealous," Alex admitted. "Of us back in college. She had a thing for you even then." Hope left the cafe reeling. Was Poppy's affection genuine, or a ploy born of envy? That night, a knock echoed through her apartment. Poppy stood in the snow-dusted hallway, cheeks red from cold. "I messed up," she said. "But my feelings are real. Alex is the liar. She's using me to get to you." They argued into the wee hours, voices rising and falling like the city's sirens. Poppy confessed her high school obsession, how she'd followed Hope's life enviously, how Alex's stories fueled her resentment. "But when I saw you, it changed. It became love, not spite." Hope wanted to believe her, but trust was fractured. "I need time," she said, closing the door softly. Winter deepened, New York streets turning to slush. Hope threw herself into work, designing campaigns for a feminist nonprofit. Friends urged her to date again, but her heart lingered on Poppy. Valentine's Day approached, a reminder of their budding romance. Poppy had once joked about proposing with a ring pop under the Brooklyn Bridge. Then a package arrived. A scrapbook from Poppy, filled with photos, ticket stubs, and handwritten notes. "Our story isn't over," the last page read. "Fight for us." Hope's resolve cracked. She called Poppy, voice shaky. "Meet me at our spot." At Bethesda Fountain under a rare blue sky, they reconciled with tears and promises. "No more secrets," Poppy vowed. Hope nodded, pulling her close. For now, forgiveness bloomed like spring crocuses pushing through snow. But fate had more twists. Alex, spurned, lashed out on social media, outing family secrets and accusing Poppy of manipulation. The post went viral in their small queer circles, drawing unwanted attention. Hope's boss questioned her focus. Poppy's additions dried up amid the drama. The scandal rippled through their lives like a stone skipped across the Hudson. Hope's inbox filled with concerned messages from old classmates. Her carefully curated online presence tainted by Alex's vitriol. "Poppy's a stalker," one post read. "She orchestrated this whole thing." Poppy, meanwhile, faced whispers at work. Coworkers side-eyeing her. Customers avoiding her section. Her dream audition for an off-Broadway play was canceled. The director citing distractions. They hunkered down in Hope's apartment, ordering pizza and binge-watching queer rom-coms to escape. "This is my fault," Poppy said one night, head in Hope's lap. "I should have cut Alex off years ago." "No," Hope replied, stroking her hair. "We're in this together." Their bond strengthened in adversity, conversations delving deeper into fears and dreams. Hope shared her parents' slow acceptance, how they'd sent a pride flag last June, a small but meaningful gesture. Poppy opened up about her own family fractures. A distant father in Ohio, a mother who supported her sexuality but struggled with mental health. Spring thawed the city, bringing renewal. They attended therapy together, a cozy office in the village where a kind counselor helped unpack the layers of betrayal. "Trust is rebuilt brick by brick," she said. Hope and Poppy committed, date nights evolving into honest check-ins. But conflict resurfaced when Alex showed up unannounced at H&M, demanding to speak with Poppy. Witnesses later recounted the heated exchange. Alex accusing Poppy of stealing her second chance, Poppy retorting that Alex had never deserved one. Security escorted Alex out, but not before she hurled a final barb. "Hope will see through you eventually." The incident made local queer news blogs, amplifying the drama. Hope's freelance clients hesitated, one pulling a contract over personal instability. Frustrated, she confronted Poppy. "Why didn't you tell me she came by?" "I didn't want to worry you," Poppy admitted. "I'm trying to protect us." "That's the problem," Hope snapped. Secrets again. The argument escalated, old wounds reopening. Hope stormed out, wandering Central Park until dusk, questioning if love was worth the chaos. She called her best friend Mia, a no-nonsense lawyer from NYU days. "Is it real or am I repeating patterns?" Hope asked over wine at a rooftop bar. Mia listened, then said, "Alex was betrayal. Poppy's messy, but she's fighting for you. That's the difference." Inspired, Hope returned home to find Poppy packing a bag. "I'm giving you space," Poppy said tearfully. "I love you too much to drag you down." "No," Hope said, pulling her into an embrace. "We fight through this." Summer brought heat waves and healing. They volunteered at Pride, marching under rainbow banners, the crowd's energy a reminder of community resilience. Poppy landed a small role in a web series, her talent shining through the scandal's fade. Hope's work rebounded, her designs gracing billboards in Times Square. Yet, the high point came with a low. Poppy's mother fell ill, requiring a trip to Ohio. Hope offered to go, but Poppy hesitated. "My family's complicated. Dad's not accepting." "I'll be there," Hope insisted. The drive through Pennsylvania's rolling hills was tense, conversations laced with nerves. In the modest Cleveland suburb, Poppy's mom welcomed them warmly, her frail form belying a sharp wit. "So you're the one who stole my girl's heart," she teased Hope. But Poppy's dad was another story, gruff, avoiding eye contact, muttering about lifestyles. Dinner was awkward, silence as thick as humidity. Later in the guest room, Poppy cried, "He'll never change." Hope held her. "We don't need his approval. We have each other." The visit culminated in a confrontation. Poppy's dad cornered Hope in the kitchen. "This phase of hers, it's not right." "It's not a phase," Hope replied steadily. "It's love. And if you can't see that, you're missing out on an amazing daughter." He stormed off, but the next morning, he offered a gruff apology. "I don't understand it, but I want her happy." It wasn't full acceptance, but a crack in the wall. Back in New York, invigorated, they planned a future. Moving in together, perhaps adopting a rescue dog. But Alex reemerged, emailing an apology. "I was wrong. Jealous. Let me make amends." Hope and Poppy met her at a neutral park bench. Alex, sans ring, confessed her engagement's end. "I came out fully. To everyone. Thanks to you both indirectly." Forgiveness wasn't easy, but they extended olive branches. Family's family, Poppy said. Alex nodded, vowing distance unless invited. As fall returned, leaves turning gold, Hope and Poppy stood on the Brooklyn Bridge at sunset. Remember my ring pop joke? Poppy asked, kneeling with a real ring. A simple band etched with stars. Hope gasped. Yes. Marry me, Hope. Through the drama, the heart breaks. Let's build something beautiful. Tears flowing, Hope pulled her up. Yes. 1,000 times yes. Their wedding was intimate, in a rooftop garden overlooking the city that had tested and tempered their love. Friends cheered, families mingled tentatively, and in that moment, amid vows of forever, the scars of betrayal faded into badges of resilience. But life, ever dramatic, threw one last curve. Months later, Poppy's acting career took off with a Broadway understudy role. The demands strained their time, leading to late-night arguments about balance. Hope felt sidelined, her own dreams of starting a design firm pushed aside. The strain built like pressure in a subway tunnel. Poppy's rehearsals ran long, her phone buzzing with cast messages while Hope waited at home with cooling dinners. I'm sorry, Poppy would say, collapsing into bed. This is my shot. I know, Hope replied, but resentment simmered. Their once vibrant connection felt stretched thin, echoes of past insecurities resurfacing. Hope confided in therapy. Am I losing her to the spotlight? The breaking point came during a rare date night. Poppy's phone rang mid-conversation, her agent with big news. She stepped outside, returning beaming. I got the lead. In a touring production. Hope forced a smile. That's amazing. But, touring? For months. Poppy's excitement faltered. It's only 6 months. We can make it work, visits, FaceTime. But what about us? Hope's voice cracked. Our life here. The argument spilled into the street, voices echoing off brownstones. You're not supportive, Poppy accused. You're not present, Hope shot back. They slept apart that night, the apartment heavy with unspoken fears. Morning brought apologies, but the rift lingered. Poppy left for rehearsals. Hope buried herself in work, sketching furiously. Friends noticed the tension at a group brunch. You two okay? Mia asked. Hope shrugged. Adjusting. But inside doubt gnawed. Was this the betrayal she'd feared? Not from Alex, but from ambition? Poppy's success highlighted Hope's stagnation. Her design firm idea remained a dream, stalled by fear of failure. A weekend getaway to the Hamptons, courtesy of Poppy's new earnings, aimed to mend. Beach walks, bonfires, romance rekindled. I don't want to lose you, Poppy whispered under stars. Then don't, Hope said. Include me. They brainstormed. Hope could freelance remotely, join parts of the tour. Compromise bloomed. But reality hit when Poppy's tour began. Airports, hotel rooms, sporadic calls. Hope filled voids with her own pursuits, enrolling in business classes, networking at design meetups. She launched her firm, Hopeful Horizons, specializing in inclusive branding. Loneliness crept in, though. Late nights she'd scroll Poppy's Instagram, glam shots from Chicago, LA, wondering if distance bred drift. Then a rumor surfaced. Poppy seen cozy with a co-star at a cast party. Tabloid fodder in queer media. Hope's heart plummeted. She called, voice steady. Is it true? Poppy laughed it off. Paparazzi nonsense. She's straight and I'm yours. But seeds of doubt sprouted. When Poppy visited for a weekend, tension crackled. You don't trust me, Poppy said. Can you blame me? After everything. They talked through it, reaffirming commitment. We're stronger than rumors, Poppy vowed. As the tour wound down, Poppy returned changed, more confident, world-weary. Hope greeted her at JFK with flowers, their reunion passionate and tearful. Post-tour they nested, adopting a scruffy terrier named Luna. Life stabilized. Poppy auditioned locally, Hope's firm thrived. They hosted dinner parties, toasting milestones. Yet a deeper conflict emerged, family planning. Hope wanted kids, Poppy hesitated. With my career? And our past dramas? Discussions turned heated. We can balance it, Hope argued. I'm scared, Poppy admitted. What if I'm not enough? Therapy helped, uncovering Poppy's fears rooted in her unstable childhood. They explored adoption, surrogacy, steps toward a shared future. Anniversary arrived. 2 years since that fitting room whisper. They renewed vows privately on the bridge, rings glinting in twilight. But health scare struck. Hope's routine checkup revealed a lump. Benign, thankfully, but the fear bonded them anew. "I can't imagine life without you," Poppy said in the waiting room. "Me neither." Recovery brought clarity. They pursued parenthood, starting with fostering classes. Challenges arose, bureaucracy, emotional tolls, but their love anchored them. One evening, as snow blanketed the city, Poppy surprised Hope with adoption papers. "Let's do this. Together." Tears mingled with laughter. "Our family." Years passed in a montage of American dreams. A brownstone in Harlem, a daughter named Riley, adopted from foster care, a spirited 5-year-old with curls like poppies. Challenges persisted. Riley's adjustment issues, career juggles, but they navigated with grace. Poppy's Broadway debut came. Hope in the front row, Riley clapping wildly. Backstage, amid applause, Poppy whispered, "You shocked my heart that day in H&M. And every day since." Hope smiled. Forever. Their story, once fraught with drama, evolved into a testament to resilience. Betrayals forgiven, love deepened, they embodied hope. Human, flawed, enduring. In quieter moments they'd reflect. The whisper that started it all. A catalyst for growth. New York's pulse mirrored their journey. Chaotic, beautiful, unyielding. As Riley grew, they taught her. Love isn't perfect, but it's worth the fight. And in that, found their humanity. Time wove their lives into a rich tapestry, threads of joy and sorrow interlaced. Riley blossomed into a teenager, her rebellious streak echoing Poppy's high school fire. "Mom, why can't I dye my hair blue?" she'd argue, eyes rolling in classic adolescent fashion. "Because school's strict," Hope would say while Poppy smirked. "Go for it, kid. Life's too short." Parenting balanced their dynamic, Hope the planner, Poppy the free spirit. They attended PTA meetings in suburbia-flavored Harlem, advocating for inclusive curricula. Challenges came. Riley's bullying over her 2 moms, but they armed her with pride, turning pain into power. Professionally, Hope's firm expanded, mentoring young queer designers. Poppy transitioned to directing, her off-Broadway hits garnering acclaim. Accolades brought travel, but they prioritized family. Weekend hikes in the Catskills, holidays in Seattle where Hope's parents doted on Riley. Yet, echoes of past drama resurfaced when Alex re-entered peripherally. Now a therapist in Chicago, she reached out via email. "Congrats on the family. I've found peace. Married to a wonderful woman. No malice, just closure." Poppy and Hope shared a laugh over wine. "Full circle," Poppy said. Aging brought introspection. In their 50s, gray-streaking hair, they faced health hurdles. Poppy's knee surgery from old-stage injuries, Hope's arthritis from endless sketching. But love endured, morphing into comfortable companionship. Quiet evenings with books, Riley's college calls filling the nest. Tragedy struck when Poppy's mother passed. The funeral in Ohio reunited family. Poppy's dad softened by years, embracing Riley. "You've built something good," he told Hope. Healing words, late but cherished. Inspired, they authored a memoir, Whispers in the Fitting Room, a bestseller in LGBTQ+ circles, sharing their story of love amid betrayal. Book tours connected them with others, fostering community. Riley's wedding to her college sweetheart, a kind engineer, marked a pinnacle. Under a tent in Central Park, Poppy walked her down the aisle, Hope beaming. "Our legacy," they whispered. In twilight years, they retired to a cottage in upstate New York. City visits for grandkids. Luna's successor, a lab mix, romped in the yard. Evenings by the fire, they'd reminisce. That H&M encounter. The whispers that shattered and rebuilt. "One whisper changed everything," Hope said one starry night. Poppy kissed her. "For the better." Their end came peacefully decades later. Poppy first in sleep, Hope following months after, as if unwilling to linger alone. Obituaries hailed them as pioneers. A love story defying odds, humanizing queer narratives in America. Riley, inheriting their spirit, raised her children with tales of grandma's Hope and Poppy. The whisper, the drama, the unbreakable bond. In that, their legacy lived. A reminder that love, though tested by betrayal and time, could redeem and uplift. The city they loved pulsed on. But their story lingered like an eternal whisper in the wind, romantic, dramatic, profoundly human.